Hey guys, many of you have been hearing me talk about YouTube recently, and maybe even more than recently, over the last few months. And I've been hearing a lot of feedback as to like, why are you pushing YouTube? It's too late for YouTube. What's the goal with YouTube? And when I hear that, I just want to kind of clarify, you know, I'm pushing YouTube not for the reasons you might be thinking. I'm not trying to make someone YouTube famous. I'm not trying to make someone have a YouTube channel with hundreds of thousands of followers. While that would be awesome, that's not the goal. So when someone says it's too late and pushes back on it, I actually I'm wanting everyone to utilize YouTube for a completely different reason. And if you hear the thunder and my dog may be barking, that's because we're having kind of one of those humidity evening thunderstorms right now. But don't let that distract you. Anyway, the reason I'm pushing YouTube, there's a few reasons behind it. One, it's totally searchable. And I don't mean searchable like you go to YouTube and you search for a topic you want to find out about, while obviously it's really good at doing that. YouTube's owned by Google, the behemoth of all search engines. So when someone types in your name or your business into Google, chances are Google's going to populate something around a video that you've created, or your YouTube channel, or your business YouTube channel, right? Whatever. Secondarily, YouTube is probably the most widely accepted site out, next to Facebook and Google in the world. Like, my kids know how to use YouTube, and God willing, if your parents are still alive, they likely know how to use YouTube. So it spans the entire gamut of kind of the human life cycle. So everybody knows how to use YouTube. And that's important because the third reason that YouTube is so, I think, so underutilized and we need to be using it is, like I said, it's searchable. Like I said, it's usable, but it's your content library. Like, where else in the entire world can you house your video library that someone can actually find your playlist, find the videos you want them to find out the things about you and your business that you want to share? Where else can someone find that? It's not on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram. Like, those are things where you might stumble upon a video or a topic, but you wouldn't go to someone's, you're not going to scroll through LinkedIn forever to find all the videos someone's created, right? Okay, the answer might be, I'll go to your website. Well, here's the thing with the website. No one wants to consume your video that's been uploaded to some wonky video player on a website that doesn't play and stretch right on my iPhone or iPad or Android or Samsung or TV, like, or the buffering is all out of whack. Like, and I know some folks watching this, you work at restrictive firms who don't allow YouTube, or you work for a business that doesn't allow YouTube. The compliance is just, they're scared of it. And I totally have empathy for that, and I understand that. So we have to play within your sandbox and your rules, and that's okay, and we'll navigate that. But for everybody else who can use YouTube and you're not, you're just leaving an enormous opportunity on the table. And while I talk about, nobody wants to go to your website and use your website as your content library, because they don't, and you don't, right? What happens when your website's outdated and you need to rebuild it? Or you leave where you're at? Or you just happen to work at a business that has videos of you on the website? Like, you can't take any of that with you. And while you may say, I'll never leave where I'm at, you're likely going to upgrade your website at some point. And if you do that, are you really going to, and you've got 100 videos on there, are you really going to take the time to re-upload all those? Chances are you're not. And the beauty of YouTube is you upload them as you go, and as YouTube, the platform matures and gets better and better, they're just going to carry your content along with them. So it's searchable, it's consumable, and it's your content library for eternity. And all three of those things don't make you an influencer. They don't make you YouTube famous. They don't do anything but allow you to have a channel in a place in which everyone is comfortable consuming content. And for that reason, I'm pushing YouTube hard. And I don't care if you have 5 followers, 35 followers, 9,000, it doesn't matter. The point is, you need your content in a library that is a consumable place, a searchable place, and a place that everyone's familiar with. And the last reason that I really push YouTube for everybody is it's so shareable. Like, no one will ever send you a link to say, watch this on someone's website that's like the third tab, and then you've got to scroll down, stretch the image. It's in a weird, funky player. It buffers. No one will ever consume that. So if you want to share a video with a friend, you can't share it if you're pulling it off of their website. You can't share it if you see it in the LinkedIn feed, the Instagram feed. Like, you've got to put that into a story or repost it or something, right? You can't just share that. YouTube is so shareable, and everyone's familiar using it. So that's why I'm pushing YouTube. It has nothing to do with turning anyone into like YouTube famous. That's not the point. The point is it's a content library that every single one of us, whether it's a personal brand, whether it's our business brand, or whether it's a corporate brand, every single one of us need to be using it. And I did some poking around this afternoon. YouTube has so been ignored by the behemoths in the financial services industry. I don't want to, I'm not going to pull it up now, but I was underwhelmed by the amount of engagement and the content and the lack of time that has been put into the YouTube channel by some of the monster firms that all of you are familiar with. So YouTube is a massive opportunity. It's being ignored across the board, all the way from the financial advisor level all the way up to the top. And while everyone may have a presence there, they're not doing a very good job with it. So I'd encourage all of you guys, whether you're solopreneurs as a financial advisor, or you're a $3 billion boutique, or you're a $800 billion, $1 trillion monster, you guys need to do a better job on YouTube. And I'm not going to repeat all the reasons. Last thing, I'm back I've restarted my podcast, Unfiltered with Corey Keating. If you're listening to this, I started some kind of figuring out how this whole video is going to be released. I'm also going to share this video on the podcast. So if you're listening to this audio only, this is kind of weird that I'm talking to you about subscribing to a podcast that you're already listening to. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, thank you for listening to the podcast. Please subscribe, leave a rating, and I appreciate you being there. If you're not, please follow, subscribe and start enjoying some of the content, the audio content that I'm putting out on the Unfiltered with Corey Keating podcast. Cheers, everybody. I appreciate you watching, and get your YouTube channel, get your shit together. Talk soon.